This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories. And welcome to my recap and review of The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 21, The Pirate. And there will be spoilers for this episode. So if you have not watched it yet, I would recommend watching this. And let's go straight into this. On Navarro, Grief Karga is looking into many improvements he could make to the city and use it to improve it greatly when pirate captain Gorian Shard contacts him and begins to threaten him, telling him that he has come for revenge and begins to fire his ship's cannons upon the city and causes mass panic as Grief Karga desperately sends a message to the New Republic for help. This message is received by Carson Tiva, who wants to help Magistrate Karga and wants to go for help. After reviewing the message, he begins to speak with the rebel hero Lestat Garazeb Aurelius about how the state of the galaxy is and just how he really wants to help the planet, but Zeb thinks that it is unlikely and there is too much red tape to go through, so Tiva says he's going to go straight to Coruscant. And Tiva begins his meeting with one of the higher ups in the New Republic, but he seems very disinterested. And once Elia Kane enters in and begins to tell him about Navarro and how it's not a member world, no help is going to be offered to Navarro. Was made really clear by the officer, and Tiva is angered by this and sees an Imperial being here as a betrayal and is a little insulted by her presence, but knows there's nothing he could do, so he goes off to seek for help elsewhere. Back in Navarro, Grief Karga, unknowing of the events taking place on Coruscant, tries to reassure the people, telling them that help from the New Republic will arrive soon. Meanwhile, Tiva has managed to track down the Mandalorian covert and lands his X-Wing and just asks for a chance to talk as the Mandalorians have their weapons aimed at him and go out to tell him to get away. And he reveals that R5 has revealed their location to him to help, and Din Djarin talks the other Mandalorians out of killing him, telling him that this man has gave him a few passes in the past and he wants to return the favor. And Tiva asks for Din to step to the side to talk to him. And when they begin to talk, he tells him of everything that's happening with Grief Karga and he needs his help. And Din knows he has to help his friend and sees Tiva off. He then goes to the Mandalorians and presents a case before them, begging them to help his good friend. And even though they have fought in the past, he tells them that they are ultimately on the same side and have been offered a piece of land on Navarro, and they could use it to have somewhere to live in the light of day and be able to have a permanent place of settlement. He then goes to sit down as any other Mandalorians that wish to speak up could, and Pez Vizsla takes this opportunity, beginning in a little bit of a negative way, saying all the negatives in this plan, and they really don't owe him anything besides Din, and wondering if there should be this much protection for the foundling Grogu. But he quickly begins to turn around, saying that that's at the point that they're the Mandalorians and they should do this, and this will be a great opportunity for their future, and that both Din and Bo showed they were true Mandalorians by going to rescue his son. And through this, the decision is made, and the operation will begin soon. Bo Katan begins to break down the plan, telling everyone their parts as they're going to take the city as her and Din go and take out the pirate fighters in command ship. Back in Navarro, chaos is shown as all of the pirates go on a rampage through the city, doing really whatever they want and causing mass destruction and chaos, terrorizing the citizens that weren't lucky enough to escape. But at this point, the Mandalorians come out of hyperspace, led by Din Djarin, who begins an attack to distract them, leading away the pirate fighters. Bo-Katan is able to get in and, using the drop bay in her fighter, drops out multiple Mandalorians to begin attacking the pirates in the city and begin to slowly take it back. Din flies towards the lava flats so he can create a distraction for Bo to be able to attack the pirates' main ship. And back in the city, the Mandalorians are slowly advancing through the city, but are quickly pinned down by a turret placed on top of Magistrate Karga's office. The fighters are recalled, and Din and Bo manage to take all but one out, and the last pirate flees for his life. Back in the city, the pirate with the large turret is taken out by the armorer, and the rest of the pirates begin to flee the city, but are trapped between Grief Karga and the citizens and the Mandalorians. Knowing there is no way out, Shard orders for his forces to begin to fire upon the city, and Din and Bo go for a quick attack run, taking out the final engine to his ship, causing it to crash towards the edge of the town and blow up in a fiery explosion. Grief Karga is highly thankful, and as the people celebrate the Mandalorians, he promises them a sizable portion of land for them to be able to have a home on. And while this is happening, the armor has called Bo-Katan to meet with her, and Pez Vizsla leads her down. She begins to have a conversation with the armorer as she begins to discuss the Mandalorian Forge and the Great One on Mandalore, and how this smaller one still helps, but their people are divided. She then tells Bo-Katan to remove her helmet, and although Bo-Katan questions this, the armorer says to trust her, and Bo-Katan does this. Once she has her helmet removed, the armorer begins to explain her plans, saying that Bo is one who works both the way and the way of the new Mandalorians, and that she could be the one that could unite their people together and be able to lead them on, and leads Bo with her helmet removed to tell everyone her plans and that they are going to be uniting the two groups of Mandalorians through Bo-Katan, who's going to go and recruit more Mandalorians to their cause, and begins to imply that not all Mandalorians have to follow the way. Out in space, Tiva has come across a derelict Lambda-class shuttle and is very curious about it. Beginning an investigation, he gets online with the New Republic and begins to investigate into the wreckage of the ship and quickly figures out this was the ship transporting Moff Gideon. And looking deeper into it, he sees that Gideon's body is not in there and that he has been rescued. trying to figure out who did it. He begins to scan around the ship and finds Beskar alloy inside of it, realizing that some faction of Mandalorians has done this. And honestly, this was a pretty interesting episode. It was probably the best one this season so far, and honestly, although I've been enjoying it, I know a lot of people have had some problems, and I think that this episode is probably going to be more universally loved than the others. It's really interesting to see that the way might be changing at least slightly for those who really want to be strictly into the way to be able to do that, but also there will be room for others that want to be a little more new Mandalorian traditions and be able to remove their helmets. But there's going to be a sort of compromise for them to be a little more traditional, but not to fully follow the way. And that's going to be pretty interesting to see develop, and I think will be an interesting change to the story. I'm wondering how they're going to do it, but it's also really interesting to see how loyal Bo-Katan really is, and I'm going to be interested to see just really how she goes about this in her old ways, because she's clearly changed a lot from thinking that Din and his allies were basically a cult to really becoming an ally to them, and it definitely has a lot of change for her. I really am excited to see where the rest of the season goes and what the now freed Moff Gideon will do, unless he was taken by one of these other Mandalorian factions that Bo-Katan will run across. And I'm guessing that Din will probably join her on her mission. It'll probably be revealed at the start, probably in the next episode. And I'm wondering what they're going to do for the rest of the season, because the only other scene we haven't seen is, I think, the one where you get to, I think, see it's probably going to be a flashback to Mandalore or a new type of Mandalorian city on a different planet. And I am interested to see where this goes. I really did enjoy the season so far. I'd say probably two is still my favorite, but I do enjoy this one, and I do want to see where it continues for the people in Mandalore and everything. But I don't know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.